get here. Make it epic, it's the same like you did before. Make it ring, make it bleed, make it really.
Next one was the first single. And the first single was released on August 21st, like the month prior leading up to. I remember the day the single came out. I was working, and I got home.
The day the single comes?
The day the single comes. And I was nervous, anticipated. You know, this is something really highly anticipated. For the lead up to this, they did something called Mission Metallica, where like you paid a subscription fee, and every day you got something new, some behind the scene footage, fly on the wall stuff. You got to see them kind of making the album as they were making the album, and it was never like a whole bunch. It was enough just to whet your appetite. So you got to hear a lot of the riffs before they, you know, like, but you didn't always know exactly where they were falling, and you know you didn't have complete songs like given to you or anything like that with demos. So I'd heard a few things in riffs, but I mean, it sounded cool. But that's what I also thought when I first heard Frantic, when I first played it live. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is different. And then you dive into Saint Anger, and it's, well, more of that, but just not as creative. Oh, man. Getting home, firing up old YouTube, circa 12 years ago. They had released a video. I sat down, hit play.
It loaded for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it did.
It loaded so long I could listen to the entire Load album. And no. Like it loaded, and I was immediately like, wow, this is different. And then it clicks, and I'm hearing it. I'm like, this is damn near Justice. This is like Justice mixed with Black Album. And yeah, no, the song took me away. This song is The Day That Never Comes. It is placed at track 4. Very similar to Fade to Black, Welcome Home Sanitarium. 1. The original Unforgiven, as sort of like, well, and it actually fits more with the other 3 that I said, because all 3 of those songs, they have a soft section, a harder section, and then a jam section, where the end of the song is just them tearing it up. And this song does exactly that. And I felt this is the very first full thing that I heard coming into a new album. I must have listened to that song so many times that night. I bought it on iTunes just so I could have it on my iPod and play it everywhere. In the car, at work, in my shower, just where because I couldn't get enough of it, because I'm like, you know, coming off of Saint Anger, and we've already discussed it, so you know exactly how we feel about it. That was the first album that I had released after I became a fan, and when you have nothing else, it seems cool, but then after a while, you start becoming a little bit more objective of it, and it is very different. Then to hear something here that is modern for the time in 2008, sure, but it has flavors of stuff they've done and mastered before, no pun intended. But no, this song is a fucking banger for me. I love the theme of this song of abuse. Not that I love abuse. I love the fact that they tackled it, because it is something that's hard for people to talk about. You know, nobody wants to be the one, whether it's fear or whether it's like, if you don't want to be the person to stand up and say, I'm being beaten, I'm being abused, whether that's physically or emotionally. And then for guys, it can be even harder, because it means, you know, having to demasculate yourself as to saying, I'm being abused by my partner, which is entirely, you know, that's entirely, you know, possible. And the fact that they covered it's a heavy topic. The song is fucking heavy. I can't say enough about it. I love the solo. I love the dual Iron Maiden guitar stuff they do here. It's great. That was one of the that was one of the first things when they kick into the heavy part and they go into the little dual. James and Kirk are just playing that, and I love when they play it live. They both do that, you know, because James doesn't get a lot of shine time for lead stuff, And so for them to sit there back to back and play that shit, like that is the shit that got them into playing music, you know. That, and for them to bring that back around, you hear that some on this album, you're gonna hear it more on the next album too, and they're like, it's just awesome. I got nothing else to say about it. Dick, I'm going to you.
Well, you said all the things I wanted to say, especially that last bit about the dueling guitars, because again, this is fresh Metallica for me back in the day. So when that premiered, I was stoked, and I really dug the softness of it, and I love those octave chords they're playing in the beginning, that main hook, and then like you said, the material covering abuse and all that, like that's something I didn't quite get back then, but now it's definitely coming to my attention nowadays, now that I'm actually listening to it and actually enjoying the music for what it is. But I thought it was a solid first opening single. I want to give this song a 10, but like I think the length kind of kills it for me, despite the fact that I actually like what's at the end of it, where the whole end of the song is just nothing but like 3 minutes of jam.
It's the second longest song on the album. It's 8:15.
Yeah. It just kind of, the length. It's like, okay, I'm ready for either lyrics again or the next song. Let's move. But yeah, I love this song.
All right, we'll go to Nick next.
I love it. The intro is amazing. The vocals are fucking awesome. The chorus rocks. The interlude into the fast part in the middle is incredible. It's even more killer when it picks back up again. The solo's monstrous. It's definitely my favorite song on the album by far.
Hell yeah. And Nate.
I wrote these as probably my longest notes on the album, so there's a lot to say here. A lot of things you guys have covered, but this is just from my perspective. Slow, emotional intro. I love that. It has Unforgiven vibes, but at the same time is very different. Vocally beautiful and moving, especially with the lyrical content and what is absolutely being spoken about, abuse and stuff. The heavy chorus is awesome, but the clipping is so noticeable. It's really bad there. I wrote, who mixed with Audacity? Because that seems like what they must have done. Love is a 4-letter word is one of my favorite lines.
That's
in
a great
song. And never spoken here. One-esque breakdown, and I say like one-esque, like it is very much like one. The breakdown is great. Fast thrashy. The harmonies, check. Solid bass, check. Pre-solo is super, and I literally wrote a bunch of different angles to describe angular. Solo is raging. The finger tap outro ending is the shit. The song has been played 176 times live, which is a large number, as recently as the S&M 2, I do believe.
It's a great version of that
was
song,
its last
too.
performance.
Yes,
I agree.
I can't wait to cover that. Nate, you got a rank for me, pal?
9.25, my bro.
And Nick?
I give it a 10.
Finish your drink and open another drink and drink half of that drink.
Finish the drink, all 32 ounces. All right.
And all of a sudden starts pissing on himself.
Right. Awesome. Nick. No, not Dick. Sorry. I said Dick Nick, and I'm like, no, wait, we just did him. Dick.
So I said I wanted to give this song a 10, so fuck it, I'm going to give it a 10.
Boom. Change your mind.
Finish
Yeah.
another drink.
This is like tied for my tied for my favorite song on this album. I also want to mention, I forgot to mention a lyric that I love. It's all in this day, I'll splatter color on this gray. Is it gray or grave? Because the internet's telling me grave. Okay, the internet's wrong then. But because I think gray makes more sense. And
I got it right here.
Nice.
Got it right here, man. Where are we at?
To the Death Magnetic Bible.
I'll splatter color on this gray.
All right. Internet, you're wrong. Music's match, you're wrong.
Fucking put him on blast, brother.
Wow.
No,
Fuck 'em.
no, I love that line. I gave this song a 10 as well. This, I cannot ever possibly replicate the feeling I got from hearing this song for the first time. You can only do everything the first time for the first time.
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
right?
I remember. So I got my driver's license around this time. So I was constantly like burning mixed CDs, and this was like on every single one of them.
Oh, dude.
This
Mix-
album is so really quick. I want to say one thing because I forgot, and this is a good point to mention it because this is around the time that I got my dad really heavily into Metallica.
It
He
is,
was,
it is.
jamming on everything, and it's also the same time because 2008 was the summer of 2008 is when he bought his Mustang. His 2008 Mustang only has 50,000 miles on it to date.
Yep.
It also still has Death Magnetic as
Still-
one of the 6 albums in the fucking car to
Nice.
this day.
All right,
Nice.
so I actually got to cruise with your dad in the Mustang with Death Magnetic in there, and because that was like right around the time we were getting the band back together, and I can't remember why you had to leave or do something, or we had to wait for you. Maybe we were waiting for you. But he's like, "Hey, you want to run to Casey's?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I, run out there, grab a drink, and grab myself a Twix. And he, he's throwing on Death Magnetic, and I'm like, "Hell yeah," And he's like, "We're talking about it." And as we're talking, I crack open the Twix, and I take a bite of it, and we're talking. He goes, "Did you just open up a fucking candy bar in my car?" and I'm like sitting there with the Twix going, "Okay." Oh no, great shit. Love this song. 10 all the way.